There are places on this earth where the air itself feels wrong. Places where silence has weight, where darkness doesn't just hide things, it keeps them. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was built to heal the broken minds of America, but what it created was something no architect ever designed and no doctor ever dared explain. For over a century, nearly 25,000 souls passed through these doors. Many never came back, and some never truly left.
Construction began in 1858, designed under a philosophy that believed beauty and fresh air could cure the human mind. The design was magnificent. The reality was unimaginable. What was built for 250 patients eventually housed over 2,400 human beings. The overcrowding was catastrophic. The treatment, barbaric. Lobotomies, ice water immersion, electroconvulsive shock administered without anesthesia. The walls absorbed every scream. And according to those who work here now, the walls have never stopped replaying them. The most chilling presence reported within these walls is not a former doctor, not a warden, not an orderly. It is a little girl. Investigators, staff, and tourists have encountered her in the same location, Ward 2, near the old stairwell, for decades. They call her Lily. Those who have seen her describe a child of roughly 9 years wearing a white dress, standing completely still, watching. Security footage from 2019 captured a small figure crossing the hallway at 3:17 in the morning. There were no children in the building that night. There were no children in the building for over 40 years.
Investigator Sarah Voss has spent 11 years documenting paranormal phenomena across 34 states. She describes the moment she stepped into Trans-Allegheny for the very first time. The building pushes back. You feel it the second you cross the threshold, like walking into a room where an argument just ended. Her team sets up 17 cameras across 6 wards. Empty hallways, empty rooms, empty stairwells. Everything still. By the second hour of investigation, not one camera feed would remain undisturbed. The EVP recording captured in the hydrotherapy room on night 1 sent chills through even the most experienced investigators. When investigator Marcus Dean asked aloud, "How long have you been here?" the recorder captured 7 seconds of silence. Then, always. Historical records confirm that the hydrotherapy room was the site of at least 19 patient deaths between 1920 and 1949. Patients submerged in ice water for hours, sometimes days, in the belief that temperature could reset a fractured mind. The mind does not reset. It remembers. And here, in this room, something remembers everything.
Ward 4. This is where the state sent the ones it could not classify. Not merely mentally ill, not merely dangerous. Something beyond the medical language of the era. Records obtained under the Freedom of Information Act reveal that 37 patients died in Ward 4 between 1960 and 1994. Under circumstances the state has never officially explained. Restraint-related injuries, unexplained cardiac events in young, otherwise healthy individuals, and in 4 cases, patients found inside locked rooms with no entry points, having clearly attempted to escape through the walls themselves. The claw marks are still there. Deep, desperate, human.
I worked there for 12 years as a night nurse. I have never told anyone what I saw, because I know what happens when you tell people what you saw. She describes the night she was walking the corridor of Ward 2 when she noticed a patient she had known for 3 years standing at the window at the far end of the hall. She called his name. He turned. She says his face was wrong. Not injured, not afraid. Just wrong. As though something was wearing his face the way you'd wear a coat that doesn't quite fit. She found him in his locked room 14 seconds later, sedated, sound asleep. Physically impossible to have moved that fast. I handed in my resignation the next morning. I have not slept a full night since.
Night 3, 2:54 in the morning. The moment that ended the investigation. Every camera in the building simultaneously loses signal for 11 seconds. 11 seconds. When the footage returns, the team is in the same position, every member standing exactly where they were. But Sarah Voss is facing the wrong direction. Facing away from her team, toward the darkness at the end of the corridor, flashlight off, arms at her sides. She has no memory of turning around. She has no memory of the 11 seconds at all.
A forensic analyst spent 6 weeks reviewing the Ward 4 footage. What she found, in the final frames before signal loss, changed the shape of the investigation entirely. In the extreme background of the corridor, barely visible, at the edge of the thermal camera, is a shape. Standing. Watching. Not generating heat. Not reflecting light. The shape had been standing at the end of that corridor for 47 minutes before the cameras lost signal, standing completely still, waiting. When investigators returned the following morning, they measured the distance from that position to where Sarah Voss was standing. 11 feet. Whatever was in that corridor was 11 feet behind her when the lights went out.
The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum closed its doors as a state facility in 1994. It now invites the curious, the brave, and perhaps the unwise to walk its corridors after dark. But what walks them back is the question no one has been able to answer. Lily has never been identified. The shape in Ward 4 has never been explained. 37 death certificates still carry the same 2 words: unknown forces. Some doors, once opened, do not close. Some questions, once asked inside certain walls, are answered by something that has been waiting a very long time for someone to ask. 3 knocks. From nowhere. From everywhere. The investigation remains open.
Of all the cases connected to Harrow Lake, the one that most deeply unsettles those who have studied this place is the case that was never officially classified as a drowning at all. June Adler was 12 years old when she disappeared from the Eastern Bank on August 9, 1987. Her fishing pole was found, her shoes were found, she was not. 14 months later, in October of 1988, June Adler's body was found at the water's edge of the North Bank, not floating, not washed up by current, sitting against a willow tree, hands in her lap. The coroner's report reads, "Subject shows no decomposition consistent with extended submersion. Fingernails display recent growth. No water present in lungs or stomach. Cause of death, undetermined." The coroner who wrote that report died of a heart attack 6 months later. He was 41 years old. When they found June Adler sitting against that tree, she was holding something in her right hand, folded up, tucked into her palm, a piece of paper, water damaged but legible. It was a drawing, a child's drawing. It showed the lake from above, and in the center of the lake, she had drawn something, a shape, like a doorway. And beneath the lake, she had drawn people, rows of them, standing upright, eyes open. June Adler went into that lake in August of 1987. That drawing was on paper manufactured in 1988. She drew it after she drowned. For this documentary, we made the decision to go to the lake, to stand at its edge, to listen. For the first 40 minutes, there was nothing. The water was ordinary. The readings were ordinary too. The crew relaxed. At the 43rd minute of hydrophone deployment, at 22 feet, the audio monitor registered a rhythm. Slow, regular. Our sound engineer identified it immediately. That's a heartbeat. That's a human heartbeat, coming from 22 feet down. We pulled the equipment. We left the shore.
What is Harrow Lake? After months of investigation, several theories have emerged. None of them are entirely comfortable. None of them are entirely dismissible. Dr. Naomi Chandra, trauma psychologist, offers the most unsettling framework of all. What I see in families connected to Harrow Lake returns is a form of ambiguous loss, but inverted. They carry a deep, irrational, persistent suspicion that the person who came back isn't exactly the person who went in, that some threshold was crossed, that something was exchanged. I see this consistently across families who have never spoken to each other. That pattern is, clinically, extraordinary.
On March 7, 2024, while this documentary was in production, Harrow Lake returned another body, Ryan Holloway, 28 years old, a freelance photographer from Columbus, Ohio, missing since November of 2021, found at the Southwest Bank, face up, arms at his sides, in clothing consistent with what he was last seen wearing. The forensic update, partially released, reads, "Examination of remains inconsistent with 28-month submersion, treating as active investigation. His camera was recovered with him. The memory card inside was intact. Law enforcement has not released the photographs."
38 returns. 38 souls borrowed and given back by a lake in Indiana that has no good explanation and no interest in providing one. We do not know what Harrow Lake is. We do not know what lives in the chamber beneath its floor. We do not know what happens to the people the lake takes in the days and weeks and months before it releases them. We do not know what they experience in that darkness. If those bodies are held in stasis beneath the earth, are they simply sleeping? Or are they aware? Do they know they are down there? Do they wait? Do they want to come back? And when Harrow Lake sends them back, is it done with them? Or is the return simply intermission? June Adler drew people standing beneath the water, rows of them, eyes open. Ryan Holloway's photographs have not been released. Harrow Lake is still there, still full, still waiting.